When I have talked to some of the people who have been there, I got people telling me that they're supposed to be king, you know, and I cannot get behind that. You're not my king, bro, you know. Um, and when it comes to these meetings that we've had on Oahu, I mean, you can see that if you can go online and watch the hearings at different websites online, but you can see that there were hundreds of people who showed up, and you know, like right now, I see people going over the 3 minutes or the 5 minutes or whatever, and they're being allowed to because we're in a smaller forum. But back there, it was 2 minutes, and they were trying to get people to stop after 2 minutes, and it's because there was a lot of people that wanted to talk, and we had to respect the time of the people on the DOI. But to me, the meetings were set up already in a culturally insensitive way, in the sense where you're limiting people to how long they can express their opinions on this topic, and that's not how it would have been done. I don't believe that that's how it was done when Grover Cleveland sent his people down, and they came to the decision that Native Hawaiians did not want to be annexed to the U.S. and that they should remain a kingdom. And if that president couldn't get it done, then I have a hard time believing that even Obama can get it done. I feel like the hearings were held from June to August, and now on August 19th, all decisions have to be made. I don't feel like that's enough time. As people have mentioned, there are many atrocities that have been committed against Native Hawaiians that are unsettled. Kupuna and all of that stuff. I feel like in this process, we're being told that you can ask us permission of whether you can determine your own self-governance. You can ask us permission, is what I feel like this process is about. And I understand the people who are strong in the Onipa'a movement saying, I'm not going to ask you nothing, you know? And I feel that sense too. I don't feel like I really got to ask you whether I can be Hawaiian or not. I don't feel like I got to sign up for a roll call so that somebody can tell me that I'm Hawaiian. I don't feel like even if I moved somewhere out of the country to the to Germany or wherever it was, I can still be Hawaiian. You cannot tell me when and where I can be Hawaiian, or and I especially agree with Blood Quantum that it only divides Hawaiians, and that it's not conducive to us moving forward. There's so many different opinions and groups that even to make a decision on this right now is untimely, because we haven't come together to decide what it is that we want for ourselves as a whole, and that process is going to take a long time. I hear Kupuna back on Oahu saying that they want to see a decision in their lifetime, and that would be great, but I don't believe that I would see a decision in my lifetime. You know, it's been talked about OHA and how OHA is a state agency, and you know, even their benefits don't reach the people, the natives or the Kanaka on the continent or elsewhere, but in Hawaii. But their benefits don't reach, but their decisions reach. You know, the rules that they create, those reach, but their benefits don't reach. I think, you know, we've had a problem in finding the Kanaka that would be really good leaders, and I'm unaware of who those Kanaka are in my generation, in their 30s. I'm unaware of who they are, and I don't know who it is going to be after us. And I think that that's important for us to find out who those people are. Because I don't agree with a lot of the things that OHA is doing right now, and how they're representing Native Hawaiians. I want benefits that currently exist for Native Hawaiians to continue, but it's difficult for me to answer yes to the question because of how the question is being proposed to me. It's difficult for me to say, yes, I would like you to grant me permission to determine who I am and who my son will be and who his children will be. I find difficulty in that. And I feel like I would fight to preserve whatever those benefits are anyway, whether we exist as a nation within a nation, or whether we maintain who we are right now, or whether we became our own sovereign people. I would fight for those benefits either way, no matter what the federal status of the U.S. is on Native Hawaiians. But I think one thing that I'm appreciative of for the DOI and all of this is that it has caused me to learn and think more, and I think that's what it's doing for a lot of Hawaiians, and I hope that's what it's doing for younger Hawaiians, because this really is something that's going to affect us for a long time. And the topic of land, how this doesn't address land, is again inherent in the whole. It is an inherent problem in the whole process, because land is everything to us. If we're not talking about land, then what are we talking about? If we're not talking about who's going to control the land, then we're not resolving anything at that point. The land means everything. When I talk to my friends that are Irish or English or whatever they are, they cannot understand the concept of having love for my land, aloha aina. They're like, yeah, my family's from Ireland, but I don't know anything about it. I can trace my ancestry to a plant. If I go by the humulipo, I came from the ground. So it's tough to have these discussions with people who don't understand the mindset to me, and therefore I feel like there's more education that needs to happen on both ends in order for us to even approach this topic that we're discussing right now. I don't have an answer for this, and I probably won't have an answer by August 19th, but I don't feel like I need to give an answer. Thanks.
Okay. So I appreciate all the input too. I think we're having a really good discussion here, and I just wanted to say, like, when we were putting this together, this is our best effort to try to reach out and ask questions first and to get responses. So, you mentioned if it doesn't involve land, then what is it doing? What we would urge you to do is, in the written comments, give us suggestions. We're asking, so instead of framing a question, if you guys have ideas or thoughts about, anything, like put it in an affirmative statement and say, you guys should do this, you guys should do that, because we don't know everything. And there was a team of us at the federal government that, there's like maybe 8 or 9 people drafting this, and it took forever just to get anything out the door, So we realize there's time constraints, but I just want to say we appreciate the discussion, and I'm just happy to hear everybody speak their mind.
If I have to give a comment on, or a suggestion, or my suggestion about what to do with the land, my simple suggestion is give it back. Give it back.
Hey, it worked. Aloha, my name is Paul Gumaka. And actually, everyone says beautiful things. When Ulu here came up fighting with sovereignty and Mana's strong power there. I love that. That's awesome. And the fact that we can discuss what steps to take. Maile Lona was right, where she said, Imua, just go forward. We haven't, Uncle Danny said, we haven't closed that door yet. Take an option, take a choice. We want the benefits of OHA. You know, the Hawaiian housing for the land. We applied. I cannot even pass it on to my wife. That blood quantum, if you guys can go to Congress and force them to bring it down to 1/32, you've already fought in our favor. Put Hawaiians on the lands. That's what we want, right? So if you guys are in the government, Department of the Interior, I would vote yes to start a process. I'm not against sovereignty. I'm pro-sovereignty. You can fight on both angles. It doesn't stop us from moving forward as a people. Okay, so you take this thing and you say, okay, it's a good vehicle. We have all good vehicles. It's just not being operated properly. OHA's not a bad vehicle. It can be worked. It's just that they're too, what's the word? No, don't go there. That's strong. They're conservative. We want them to be super liberal. If you have Hawaiian descendancy, you deserve a home. You deserve to be put on that land. We're the descendants. And Brother Ryder said, oh, who's to say Koko is enough? That's true. This fact that it says Native Hawaiian, it could be a political trick. Like he said, Hawaiian nation. All those in their hearts who love Hawaii, who want to learn the language, the border, the culture, that's us. And you cannot shut out the sovereignty guys, the movement guys. We can move as a two-pronged force. Let them both go. I say, let's move, like Maya said, more. We all want the benefits. Where's the money going to come from? We're all afraid of change. But it's not really change, it's transformation. Give the right people the right chance to get in the right places. Our state government is an entity, right? If we could tell these guys who are in the state, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, BS, stop. We're Hawaiian nationals. If no one has ever asked them, can you step in us for us to be our proxy? Talk government to government? Now, I know you said either yes or no. Anything after that is an opinion. I will say yes to open the door. You never shut a door. Because you can always go, I like this door. I like being American, but I also love being Hawaiian. That's who I am. If I see my flag, I brought my flag here. I said, this is me. I like Hawaii. I mean, I like America. I like football, baseball, whatever. But I am Hawaiian. You know, whether I have blood quantity or not, your attitude that you love the place that you're at, you allegiance yourself to the land, the songs, the stories, everything that we are. We're Hawaii. So this two-pronged attack is you take what they have, the Department of Interior, go to Congress. Please bring that quantity down. If you can prove, for those who are on the home, 1/32, like Briscoe Hill said, why not? You guys have power. Go get the legislators. Change that blood quantum. Bring it down. Put Hawaiians on the land. Isn't that what you want? That's a portion of government. That's a two-pronged attack. You have vehicles and entities that need to be moved in the right way. Anyway, I'm babbling. Aloha.
My name is Shelley Roberts. My husband is Hawaiian, my husband of the past 5 years, and so I've been brought into the culture through him. I have worked the past 35 years in Indian country as a paralegal and as the executive assistant to the chairman of a tribe north of here. I've gone through all the issues with enrollment, with government, with sovereignty. I understand your distress with this. I agree with this gentleman here that yes, you need to vote yes on the administrative rule and keep that door open. And then you can work within yourselves to establish what it is you want to do. I do not agree that they only give you 2 months to make your decisions. I don't agree with you that you need to respect the time of the Department of Interior. They need to respect your time. I believe that not only should they have done the meetings in Hawaii, they should do them in every single state in the mainland and give the notice to all Hawaiians to come together and hear this and comment. The only way I was able to find out about this was working for a tribal leader and getting a notice that went to tribal leaders for tribal leader consultation on a Hawaiian issue. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Young lady here. Aloha. My name is Kauanoe, and I am Hawaiian, from Hawaii, born and raised. And with my husband, moved to military and ended up being in the military and ended up here in Washington. I have family in Hawaii, and my concerns are for my family and also my kupunas who's here, and also my mo'opunas. Okay? You know, we're getting old, and I feel a lot of our kupunas say, I want to go home, I want to go home. But they have no place. Okay? I am for that because I wanted to reach people who are in the continental United States. I want them to be able to go home to Hawaii like we want to go home, but we have no place. Okay? So I am for recognition. I want it to reach everybody. I want my mo'opunas to know, yes, I am Hawaiian and I can go Hawaii. I am a part of Hawaii. They are always reaching out to me. Okay? I have a granddaughter that when she was young and she felt out of place going to school, she said, I'm going home because I know King Kamehameha loves me. And that I will never forget. She knows where she is from. Okay? They're opening a door for us. And we need to go. We need to move on. We need to move forward. My family, my ancestors, they are on that petition. And they signed it. And they fought their battle there. I have a kupuna who went to jail because he stood with the Queen. And I am so very proud of him. And I want him to be proud of me that I'm telling my people, we need to move. Because we're not going to move anywhere by keep fighting and fighting. Let's get into the government, let's set up our government, and we rule ourselves. We make our rules. We want to change the blood quantum to 132, then let us make the rules that change it. And we're not going to make the rules if we keep standing here and saying, no, shut the door. Okay? That is the only opening we have, and we need to take it. Time is of essence. We've never had a president to support us as we have now. 2016, he's going to be out. So it is important that we move fast. It is important that we go ahead, move forward. It may not happen in my generations, but I want my mo'opunas to have it. I want them to have it. So I ask that, hey, look around, really think things out. Read your histories, and yes, this is what happened. And we cannot have it all that way it used to be, but let's move forward and try and get what we can get and establish our own government for us to protect our interests. Okay? Protect our interests to take care of all of the Hawaiian people. Thank you, mahalo. And I thank you all for being here and bringing this meeting to us.
Hi, my name is Eli Yim. I'm Seattle now with my wife and children. And first I want to start and say mahalo to Tulela for hosting today and giving us this opportunity to meet with one another and speak. And I also want to thank the DOI for hosting the meeting here today. I think it was in the opening comments that Ms. Romero talked about the toxic political environment that we are in now, and I think she was referring to the Obama administration and the toxic environment that exists between Democrats and Republicans. And it's funny because I see the toxic political environment today as one between insiders and outsiders, and empowered people and disempowered people. And I think those are the dichotomies that indigenous people are very familiar with. And so what I'm hearing and what I've read of the who and the why behind the proposed rulemaking, it's just not satisfactory for me. You know, whether, you know, we talk about the Hawaiian congressional delegation. Well, I see it as the Hawaii congressional delegation. You know, the OHA trustees, these are people that are voted on solely and elected into office solely by current residents of Hawaii. So I don't have a voice in that, in those people and their place in office. And the refrain I'm hearing, I think historically, is the same that we've always heard, right? Trust us, we know what's best for you. Or, you know, we have a small window in time here. You know, it's an old sales tactic, right? That if you walk out the door, the deal may not be here anymore. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, as a community, we can't risk everything just to claim something, right? We can't, you know, we want to imua something, but for what, right? Who has something to lose here? And the answer is Native Hawaiians. Who has something to gain? To me, my answer right now, based on what I've seen and heard and read, is, you know, people who are positioning themselves politically to gain, you know, but not the people. And what exactly is there for the people to gain? We don't know. Okay, so, you know, I'm skeptical about it. You know, I have nothing but love and aloha for people on both sides of the issue. You know, people who love Hawaii and who carry Hawaii in their hearts. You know, this is empowering for me just to be in a room with people who share that love. But a valid claim is a valid claim. A valid claim now will be a valid claim 10 years from now. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I don't believe that we should adhere to someone else's process or someone else's timeline just for the sake of expediency. I'm not saying don't risk to move forward, but I am saying if we're the only ones bearing the disproportionate risk, then we better make sure that it's right. And so I say I'll no to all 5 questions.
Hello, my name is Michael Alvarez, and first of all I want to acknowledge the indigenous people on whose ancestral lands we are now visitors, and yes, thank you. I hope you don't mind if I sit. I wasn't planning to speak, and it's easier for me to read my chicken scratch if I sit. I am a citizen of the United States. I'm here as a member of the general public, and I'm here, sad to say, as a citizen of an occupier nation. As a non-native Hawaiian, ultimately, I will defer to what the majority of Native Hawaiians say about this issue. But based on the research I've done and the comments I've heard, what I've been learning, and that's an ongoing process, a learning process, I would answer the first threshold question in the negative. No, because there is an ongoing illegal occupation of the Hawaiian Kingdom by the United States. So the proper discussion is not about reestablishing a government-to-government relationship. And that's more accurately stated as a government within a government relationship. Government-to-government, it's kind of a sneaky phrase. It seems like there's parity there, like there's a conversation among equals. the proper discussion is about reestablishing a nation-to-nation relationship. And of course, the proper parties on behalf of the U.S. for this conversation would be the Secretary of State, not the Secretary of Interior. All of these legal arguments have been laid out brilliantly by Native Hawaiian scholars and activists. I don't need to go over them. Native Hawaiians can obviously speak for themselves, and they do so brilliantly, compassionately, intelligently. And so my message to my government is we need to listen to them. But not in this forum, not from this framework, not as a master listens to the grievance of a slave, not as a king listens to the grievances of its subjects, as an equal listens to an equal. We need to listen as one nation listens to another nation. If we listen, for example, I used to think that the U.S. had legally annexed Hawaii. I always knew that it was an immoral overthrow, but something could be immoral and yet legal. But again, doing research, I've come to realize that's wrong. To use the analogy that a noted Hawaiian scholar uses, the U.S. is claiming to have adopted Hawaii, but they can't produce the adoption papers. I used to also think that things have been this way for so long that it's just impractical to go back. Why look backward? It's not a realist position. Again, I was disabused of this notion just by listening to Native Hawaiians. It's easier than you might think. So let's not disregard these truths, these statements about the illegal occupation. Let's not brush them aside by saying they're not within the scope of this framework. Well, let's fix the framework. Report to your superiors and tell them, hey, we weren't the proper arm of government to be having this conversation. There's been a lot of talk about doors also. Well, you do not merely open a door for someone without expecting to herd them through it. And that's what this feels like, the railroad. That door is not going to be closed. That door is a settlement. That's what the U.S. wants. So that door is never going to be closed. It's their way out. They have a tough burden to meet. In the U.S., we can't meet that burden. We can't produce those adoption papers. Mahalo. Thank you.
I would just address a couple of things before the next speaker. So let me just underscore, government is a powerful thing. What does it mean to have a government-to-government relationship? And maybe this is going to be helpful to flesh this concept out. The United States has a relationship, a government-to-government relationship with 566 tribes in the United States. We've heard a lot of feedback from folks both in the mainland as well as in the islands. Well, what does that mean for us as a community? What does it mean to organize as a government? Well, my response is it means a lot because it gives a community, if they organize as a government, power. It gives them power to have a seat at the table on equal footing with the United States to negotiate over very important things. What are those things? The disposition of lands, the disposition of natural resources, things that are important to the inherent nature of the Native Hawaiian community. Right now, the Native Hawaiian community, they're not organized as a government, so they don't have that seat at the table. They don't even have the option of taking a seat to talk to the United States about these very, very important issues that are so very critical to the essence of the Native Hawaiian community. And I'm not saying that because I know. I'm saying that because this is what I've learned from the community of going out to the islands, hearing individuals speak their truths and talk about why that is so very important to them. So I really feel like it's important to get it out there and to talk about how forming as a government doesn't mean you're giving up anything. In fact, when my tribe formed as a government and had a government-to-government relationship in the United States, didn't mean that we ceased to exist as a people. We were just better organized, and we had a seat at the table to negotiate over our land. So I'm not saying that that makes it right. I'm just saying it's important to recognize that being a government is a powerful thing, and it can be a tool in order to exercise self-governance and self-determination over the things that are important to the Native Hawaiian community. The gentleman that spoke before the last speaker, talked about timing, and that Native Hawaiians, why should they be the ones bearing the risk? The Department of Interior is not forcing anything on the Native Hawaiian community. We're simply presenting options. It's our understanding that Native Hawaiians have been seeking to organize as a government for a very long time. And it is at this moment in time, it's at this critical juncture, during the Obama administration, that we've even come to a point where we can have this conversation with the Native Hawaiian community. Before now, there's been no dialogue. And I think that it's incumbent on us, and I'm speaking as a federal official of the Obama administration, that we present the option to the community, because that's all it is. And if the option is promulgated and a rule is proposed, it'll be on the books until a Native Hawaiian government, whatever that looks like, because it's going to be steered by the community. The United States won't have a role. Whatever government informs can then knock on the door. Just knock on it. Right now you can't even knock. So we're not hurting. We're not hurting anybody through any door. It's simply an option.
That's the problem. We're asking for a seat at the table, but we own the table.
There you go.
Why would we need permission? Why would we need permission?
We deoccupy everything you said holds true and then some.
So this is a path. There are many paths that can be taken. It's not for the United States to determine what path the Native Hawaiian community wants to go down. It's just one path of perhaps many paths.
Why is there no mention of land? I mean, if you have this government entity, why should we believe that it's just not going to continue on? Say, for example, the Department of Hawaiian Homeland now only has 200,000 acres to allot to Native Hawaiians who are determined to be Native Hawaiians under the 50% wampum. Initially, when that act was passed, right, Prince Kukio was trying to allot 800,000 acres, right? But then when they went to Congress, it then was reduced to 200,000 acres, right? So what do we have? Like Auntie's dead. She wants to have a place back home, right? As Native Hawaiians or as Hawaiian subjects, a Hawaiian national, want to have access to land. But why should we believe that we actually have access to aina, to land, and that we can afford housing and all of these things based on what you're telling us? It just sounds like, well, there's the 200,000 acres that is governed by the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. What about the 800,000 acres? What about the 1.8 million acres of Crown land, right? You're not even mentioning anything about this in the kind of how you're structuring it. So when you I don't like the nods either, because I feel like you're interpolating.
I'm
but
just saying I understand.
I mean, you speak really eloquently and lovely and nice, and you give really nice smiles, and you're convincing a lot of Hawaiians in the audience that, we are your friends, but it's kind of like, somebody getting you to do drugs for the first time. It's like, it's like, come, you're gonna love it, it's gonna be great, but then when you take it and you end up mocking it, or you have a really bad trip or something like that, that's what it's like really problematic.
I mean, the whole framework. It's not a lovely, like, we're gonna, you're gonna have a seat at the table, you're gonna have parity with the US government, and I think it's great that your people in 1934 was able to establish, a seat at the table, but we have our own table. That's what we're trying to establish. We're trying to get Kanakas to understand. We have a table and it's made out of koa, okay? Not this like junk kind IKEA pine, or petrified wood, but it's actually koa. So why are you trying to ask for permission when you already have the power? You already have the mana. So why are you advocating that mana to an institution or to a framework that really wants you to disappear? Yeah. They want you to disappear vis-a-vis blood quantum, the 50% blood quantum. As Uncle was saying, you never had to have blood quantum in order to be determined to be Hawaiian, So why are you advocating your own mana for an institution that really wants you to disappear?
Yeah, genocide.
That's right.
They want you to concede to
genocide.
US rules so they can say, okay, all claims are closed. Hawaiians have made their decision. You know what? There's no problem now. We can just do what we want. Ikalamai, that means it's going to be continuing occupation of the Aina. It's going to be the same hardships. It's going to be the prison industrial complex. It's going to be all of these things. It's just going to continue.
Thank you. Just because we're real short on time, we want to make sure that everybody that hasn't had a chance to speak has an opportunity to speak. So is there anybody that hasn't spoken yet that wants to make a statement? So we have about 15 minutes left. No? Okay, we'll move to second statements. Over here.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I gotta make you walk all the way back.
No problem, no problem.
All again.
Yeah, okay. My name's, let me pop back over here real quick. Gabriel Makanani Reyes Gomez, if you wasn't here earlier. Okay, so I wanted to thank you for your responses to my concerns earlier, and for real, I know it gets tense in here, but outside of this room, as an indigenous person, much respect. Inside of here though, you are functioning as an extension of the Department of Interior. And for that, I don't think it is your place to give your opinion on how federal recognition can benefit us, because it's confusing. You are a part of the government, and for that, we can't trust you. That just can't work like that. We cannot trust somebody that's been kicking our ass for so long.
The genocide.
And even though
Systematic
you are
genocide.
an indigenous person within an overpowering institution, that's great. If you can climb it and dismantle it, awesome. But it's so hard. It's so hard to take those things seriously. And I think a larger concern for a lot of people, quantum, all that kind of stuff, and sovereignty, I'm glad that you brought up that we can fight for federal recognition and also fight for sovereignty. It's great to expand the way we think of Hawaiian independence and Hawaii's future as a people. We come back to this, the process, it is weird, the continuous interruptions of why you think that federal recognition could benefit us, still confusing. A lot of our people here keep talking about doors opening and closing, and that we need to rush now while we have a president in office. But back when our Queen had begged the United States, there was a president in office who liked us, and then when he got out of office, the door closed and we got messed up with. So what is to say that that's not going to happen to us again? What is to say that when we get federal recognition and Obama is out and the administration is out, that the next president won't take the same type of advantage of our federal recognition to continue their shadiness? We don't have to talk about it in theory, in books, watch it on TV. A lot of us grew up watching our lands being destroyed.
watching politicians take what they like, watching people come in and tell us how we got a framework and think about each other and talk about each other and do all this kind of stuff. Mahalo to the guy back there, I forgot your name, but thank you for speaking up on behalf of the United States, because even the United States itself cannot acknowledge and just simply say we messed up with more than the Native Hawaiians, all the indigenous people of this country. There's so much more healing to go on, and to continuously talk about it as if it's a positive process or that, oh, it's humbug, but we keep pressing forward and it's great for everybody. It's not. There's ridiculous stuff like buyback programs for the Department of Interior. Any of you guys know that? Well, you gotta buy back your land, buy back the land that got stolen. Right now, you guys are in here, you're listening to us as an extension of the Department of Interior. Everybody's saying this is taking too restricted of a time, August. Take that. Take those suggestions. Stop telling us that, oh, okay, well, we know, federal recognition could benefit you. We know that. Some of us know that, some of us don't, and we can learn from each other. Right now, this is what we're saying. We confused, we like more time. And we're thankful for the opportunity, but don't keep telling us the door is going to close or whatever, that kind of stuff, you know? If there's going to be a door closing, then why are you even there? Is it a revolving door? Are we going to use different types of ways of describing our relationship here? It's confusing.